And I really hate to start the episode off this way, but Rainie, what's happening with the fork and the sushi?
Have you been holding on to that?
So I just have been watching it from across the room, and Rainie has been having Rainie has a really lovely little plate. She's hiding it now. She's embarrassed.
Moving it off camera.
And Rainie has been taking it. And honestly, maybe I'm behind on the times. And maybe what you're doing is sort of new
By the way,
world.
Miles, chopsticks or chuggy?
Chopsticks or chuggy. Rainie had a fork spearing a sushi in the center of it. Which
I didn't
again,
actually
structurally, taking a bite that way, I worry it's going to...
Yeah, I didn't see you take a bite with it. I did see the fork on it. So can we confirm or deny that the fork was used for the sushi?
Yeah, so what the situation was, we got sushi at the office, which is awesome.
Ugh.
Best day ever.
It's never good from this place.
Well, that's
This
true.
whole week's lunch has been shit. There, I said it.
Whoa, Keith's had a bad week.
I've hated every place we've gotten lunch from this
Keith,
week.
your anger is justified, but you're derailing our fork sushi story.
You're right. Let's back, please.
to back it up.
So I took a pair of chopsticks, dropped one on the floor. Then I got another pair of chopsticks, also dropped.
Wait, was it you when you were unwrapping they fell?
Yeah.
You were like...
No, the second one unwrapping. First one, I just knocked it. So I was
First one you
like,
threw.
I can't take, there's a limited number of chopsticks. I've already done way too, I can't take a third pair, so I'm just going to do a fork.
Now, what if I told you that we had machine washable chopsticks here at the
Oh
office?
my gosh,
do?
we do?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what if you had nature's chopsticks, fingies? I always get because to me a sushi roll, like if I'm getting a Whole Foods sushi roll,
You can finger that.
I'm fingering that.
Oh, you guys love to finger.
I'm a finger that.
I'm not fingering that
Kelly
sushi
XS.
roll.
I'm fingering that.
I feel like we haven't done this in a while. Is that true?
It's been like a month.
We
I've
were
been
on
thinking
tour.
about-
Miles was on tour.
That's right.
We've been not fingering anything.
Except for the culprits. We're fingering lots of culprits.
That's right. We're finding out who did the murders, and we're saying, "You did it.
I'm fingering you.
I'm locking you up."
Have you guys been watching Only Murders in the Building?
No, I've heard
Fun.
I'm watching clips of it, and by clips I mean Sarah's watching it. So I'll walk in and I'll sort of witness a clip, and then
it's
I'll
kind
leave
of-
the
yeah,
room
clip.
because she's enjoying the show.
I see screen grabs every now and then online, and I'm happy for Meryl and Martin, those two crazy
I
kids.
love those.
Yeah.
Love
Are they
it.
together?
They like fell in love in the show.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
We
that's
love
good.
that.
We just love it.
Unironically, I think Steve Martin is really hot, and I would hook up with him.
Steve Martin, yeah.
Well, he is like 70, right?
Yeah, which is
He might even be older.
He's 90? No way. He's got to be in his late 70s.
He could be early 80s.
He could be
Why
80s.
not?
I mean, I love Steve Martin. I think he's a class act. I haven't watched Only Murders, but it seems like a show I would like. There's just only so much time.
Based on the clips.
Based on the clips I've seen. There's only so much time, which is why I've decided to rewatch season 1 of Prison Break on Netflix. And that's been bringing me joy. He tattoos the whole prison blueprints, Keith, on his body.
bag, on his body.
Whoa.
So is that the bandage I saw on your back when you took your shirt off in our office before recording?
I've been tattooing the blueprints of the Try Guys office on my skeleton so that I can do a heist.
That is such a candid competition move. Next
waiting for
season,
you.
I've tattooed the schematics of McDonald's.
That's such a funny idea.
We can't be walking around with a map. So I've drawn a map on Miles's back. Every so often, to justify me taking off his shirt, I'm going to apply sunscreen to his back. Unfortunately, the sunscreen is going to make the map bleed. So I actually am not applying sunscreen. I'm just sort of massaging mayonnaise into his back.
Have to, by the way, cut it because we're going to use that verbatim.
Yeah. Rainie, I want to know, what is the episode ahead?
okay. So we have 2 big segments.
Okay.
First, a new segment, a new recurring segment.
A brand new segment?
A new recurring segment.
A new recurring. So not only is it going to be new, but no matter if
We
you
might
like
do
it or
it
not,
next
it's
week.
coming
It's
back.
coming, yeah.
Okay, it's gone straight to series.
I'm excited.
So it's called Culture Couture, Culture That Matters, parentheses to us.
Let's just first of all talk about the title.
Couture?
Culture
Couture.
It's culture couture.
Couture.
Exactly. A little hard to say.
The words are similar, but they don't sound
Culture
But they're
couture.
different.
Culture couture.
Culture That Matters, parentheses to us.
I love this.
So
I'm excited.
And that's going to be different from the
Rest of the
episodes. How?
Now, Keith, I know what you're saying. For the entire run of the tripod, we do sort of have the same segment in different clothing. But I think basically the segment is Rainie's about to read a list, and we're about to say how we feel about it.
Okay, well.
But I think that's charming. I think that's fun. I think it's fresh.
All right. So we are going to be doing a case study on one part of culture that I think is interesting, and I think that everybody here thinks is interesting.
Okay.
Which is, of course, Sean Evans.
Sean, and we would be remiss if not to mention Sean Evans.
It's about time.
We haven't talked about him in a while, so we're just going to do a deep dive. So I have some Sean updates, but before we get to that, I'm going to prep you guys on the questions I'm going to ask you after we hear about Sean.
Okay, really good.
Let us kind of think about it, marinate, and not pay attention to the things that you say for the next 2 minutes.
Crazy.
And I want us to I feel that what has happened in here was not properly addressed before. I know we have a lot to get to, but Zach put on a cowboy hat and we didn't talk about it.
He
and
looks
tried
good.
to get away with it.
He looks good.
What do you mean trying to get away with it?
You're sort of on that. You're like trying to look like role model in a lot of ways. Emma
Okay,
Chamberlain's
we gotta talk about role
ex-boyfriend.
model.
Are we
Guys,
familiar?
No.
He's a
you
singer.
know-
He's a musician. I'm working late. But Zach, talk to me about the cowboy hat.
Well, partner, sometimes when you're out in the field, you just need protection.
Where'd that hat come from? Because Rachel,
It was in our office and it
Rachel-
fit my head perfectly.
But Rachel put it on something she borrowed from Becky and said, "I'm giving this back to you." And I'm like, "That's not my hat." So where'd Rachel get that hat?
I actually do. We think that Zach pulls it off?
Oh, here's the thing, Miles.
do.
I know I am.
Oh.
You need different shoes and socks.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that if you just look at my bust,
Even I can include your pants.
you can come down to my neck. You know what? Come down to my crotch.
I'm not coming down to your crotch.
I think to me, I'm just imagining you struggling to get on a horse
And
with
that
the cowboy hat, because getting on a horse requires a lot of upper body, and then
Chutzpah.
also it's like you have to kind of be tall
And lower body.
and lower body. It requires the whole body.
Use the whole body to get up there. And the horse is bigger than you remember.
Truly, if you stand next to a horse, you're like, this is a big animal.
If you meet a horse in person, my God.
Honestly, it would be nice to do plog at horse ranch.
Oh my gosh, we have to do that. That's so fun.
Last time we were
Log
at a
on a
horse
pony.
ranch, my horse did not like me.
How did you fly? Why did
What'd
feel
you say to him?
What happened, Keith?
Well, I did sort of give off "I'm afraid of this" vibes, and I think the horse was not into that. He's like, "I don't want this on my back." I'm only calling
called you a
myself that
pussy.
because everyone else has been calling me that this year.
Is
This
that
year?
so?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Not the horse.
Eugene did it in one of the last Try Guys videos, and that seemed to open the floodgates to let everybody do it.
Yeah,
even though
Eugene-
he's not here.
Eugene
else
did it, and then it freed me to do it once, and then I did
And then
feel
Rachel
good.
did it once.
Rachel Cole called you.
We all get one. I don't.
What is happening?
You
I
get
don't know.
one.
Why did they call you? Why did Eugene do it?
Because I am. Because I'm afraid of danger.
And by the way, Keith, that was your one.
I know.
So
That's-
Rainie, Miles,
I get
In
one.
the holster.
I don't
Save.
want to use it. I feel like it's a silver bullet.
yeah, it is.
Everyone's been calling Keith just because that everyone's been doing it doesn't. Everyone jumped off a cliff. I don't think I would do
let
it
the
either.
thread of it kind of linger
Loom.
over. Like when Keith does something, you can be like, now some may look at what Keith just did and call him.
I see. I don't.
I
like,
wouldn't do that.
I don't even like saying the word.
I didn't either.
And I. So I'm.
I did it for comedic effect.
Unlike Zach, he's doing it all over the office. He's calling everyone
time.
all the time. It sort of feels. And now, what did you call him about
What word do you prefer?
it? This is interesting. And what
In
to
what
me
context,
pussies
yeah.
are powerful, Zach.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what to me do you mean when you say that to him?
What naughty word are you cool saying? Where's your line?
Naughty word.
What
Partner.
what naughty word am I comfortable saying?
Yeah.
Partner.
To Keith?
Yeah.
I guess I'm comfortable saying the word bussy.
You are definitely comfortable with
I
that.
find that word is easier off my lips to say the word bussy.
The bussy rolls off your tongue.
We got to get back to Sean Evans.
Yeah, we
Oh,
really
yeah.
do.
So the three questions are, what does Sean Evans mean to you? What does he do well? And what could he improve on?
Okay,
I
great.
mean, I've already got my answers locked and
Hey,
loaded,
but let's hear the facts.
I'd like to hear a little bit more about Sean.
All right. So some Sean updates. First of all, he's from Evanston, Illinois.
Interesting.
That's
With his
interesting.
name and all.
With his
Right.
name.
It's like, is he the mayor?
Evanstown.
You
I don't
think-
know why
yeah.
I feel like I knew that. When you said Evanston, I'm like, yeah, Illinois.
You probably heard him go, I'm actually from Evanston, Illinois. Is that a good Sean Evans impression?
That was really
Better
good.
than mine.
So what were you thinking about the? That's
When
kind
you
of
do
it.
this, da-da-da.
He talks in a little the same
Yeah.
sort of patterns.
When you put on the cowboy hat, That was revolutionary. Tell me about it.
When you were riding your bike through Echo Park in this movie and the film, what was the type of bicycle that your dad had when you were growing up?
That's good. That's
It
good.
like the question is totally irrelevant. Who cares, Sean?
Wow, this is spicy.
He doesn't say that.
No.
He's used to it.
Even I think this one's kind of hot. He might say that near
He
the
might to make
end.
you more comfortable.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this one is pretty hot every
make you feel
time.
seen.
Yeah.
He eats a taco from the top until there's just a tube of ground meat. Then he'll turn to the tube around and eat it from one end to the other. As Evans explained to the H3 podcast, I like that meat tube at the end. And I don't really care about the lettuce and the cheese or whatever is floating on top of it.
What a funny quote from, it must have been Rainie 4 years ago.
He knows he can order food however he likes, right?
But
I like the meat tube.
I'll say, I think this is a good way to eat a taco.
Really?
So he's holding, and it's soft shell, I'm guessing.
It has to be. There's no way it could go through all that.
He's
No.
making a taquito.
I'm picturing hard shell, and it's way funnier.
It is, but there's no way that would work.
Then he sort of has a boat. Yeah, it would just
Other meals
disintegrate.
we eat bread before our meat as an appetizer, so why not the taco as your little aperitif before?
He is suggesting he eats the lettuce, tomato, and cheese on its own with the tortilla, and then
Yeah.
he leaves just the tube of meat to swallow
Yeah.
But do you
sort
think
of
he's going
like a
do you think-
reverse Pez dispenser.
Do you think he's sort of
No, he didn't say he
Hunging
did
it
that.
out. I'm
hunging out the lettuce and tomato and cheese?
To me,
and
a slurp was implied.
I think
There's
he's
an
going-
invisible slurp in that.
I don't
knows.
believe Sean makes a noise when he eats. I believe he does it silently.
There's a photo of him eating, and it's hard shell, pointed down, and
knew it.
eating down.
That's crazy.
eating down. I mean, that
Eating
guy likes
down.
to eat down.
You know he eats down.
Downtown.
I do feel that Sean in the bedroom is good.
I don't
Really?
think I would not try. There's just so much residual pepper all over him.
That's really
I'm
interesting.
not into-
spicy lover.
I'm not interested in that.
No, I feel that he's a functional lover.
Functional. He when he graduated college, he was trying to be a weatherman because a professor suggested he become a weatherman.
To think that there's an alternate reality where Sean Evans is just talking about snow.
He would
I
not
don't
be.
need, it's not the vibe I want for my weatherman. I want my weatherman to be the eccentric one.
Oh,
I want my weatherman to be wearing purple thick rim glasses that are hexagonal.
yeah.
I want my weatherman to be kind of the Zaz.
He's not big enough. There, I said it.
He needs to be bigger.
He needs to be bigger.
You want a weatherman who looks like he can withstand a lot of weather.
How is he going to gesture to Alaska?
Yeah.
I know
Yes,
the
like,
map can
get
move,
up on his
but-
tippy toes.
Yeah, that's not going to look good in the morning.
To me, I want my weatherman or woman. Okay.
Do you think you'd be a better weatherman than me?
I'd be a way better weatherman than you.
And you know what? I agree.
I
Yeah.
actually do agree. You'd be good at like field reporting at some gruesome murder, though.
I'm here on the scene.
Thanks,
Oh,
Keith.
Thanks, Keith. I'm here on the scene. What's that? Yeah, thank you, Keith. I'm here
Yeah.
on the scene right now where a
right.
grisly murder has gone down. Back to you in the studio, Keith.
That's really good. Yeah.
Well,
woman
it's-
blown apart by a snowblower.
Well, it's cold again this weekend. They
And
always
all-
are a little charming. They like give
They
you the
are
bad news
charming.
and it's like, well, I got to tell you, you're going to want to bundle up because it's going to be sub-zero. There could be some people who die this weekend just from hypothermia.
How do you guys feel about doing a live stream? It's 24-hour news style, but it's all fluff.
So here's the thing. I've wanted to do a show that is called Local News, and
Yes.
we take actual local news stories once they've been published and aggregate them, but we
That's
Report
really
them.
cute.
That's a great idea.
and because once it's news, it's news. You can re-report it.
Yeah, I love
So
that.
we just use the extras like coming down to Aurora, Colorado, like picking just random places in the country to
Yeah.
say like this little girl got the pony of her dreams.
This is a great idea. And
It's
you
so
react
fun.
to it too.
It's
Like,
charming.
I think that's a great idea.
I'm going to revise my statement. I think Keith has to be the anchor. He's the only one of us that can read a teleprompter consistently.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think that you have the wild card energy, Miles,
In the
to
field?
be the weatherman.
Oh, the weatherman.
well, I think I could see you in a lot of positions.
I get.
But I think
Oh.
Rainie is our traffic reporter.
Oh,
Would you be-
And
what's-
now to Rainy Toll with traffic.
Right
Yeah.
now, like for the Anchorman dynamic, you are dressed for sports.
Yeah, you have.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
That
good
is-
point. You have the big cowboy hat.
Whammo!
I would be thrilled.
Whammy. That's a whammy.
That's a whammy!
I mean,
whammy!
I do think we need to build a news studio, and I do think we should do Keith's fun idea.
Can you name every single subscription that you have? I subscribe to things that I forget about all the time. I know I am not alone. I just learned that over 74% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about. With Rocket Money, I don't have to remember every subscription or worry about forgetting any because I can see them all laid out in front of me. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. You can see all of your subs in one place, know exactly where your money's going. They give you a dashboard with clear view of your expenses across all your accounts. They'll even try and negotiate lower bills for you, sometimes up to 20%. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/tripod. That's rocketmoney.com/tripod, rocketmoney.com/tripod. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to Keith. He's my buddy. He works hard, and he's working as hard as I am, even though he's now got a baby boy. This month is all about gratitude, and along with the person I just shouted out, Keith, there's another person we don't thank enough, and I think I speak for everyone when I say this, ourselves. It's sometimes hard to remind ourselves that we're trying our best. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people in your life, including yourself. And you know what can help you say thanks to yourself? That is therapy, of course. Therapy is just a nice way to practice that self-gratitude, that self-love. That is something that I have had to work on in my life, and I think I'm a better person for it. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/tripod today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/tripod.
I think this is a good idea.
I think it's a really good idea.
It's kind of like Snapchat where you can drop into the map. Like your news thing is like, let's find out what's going on in Aurora.
Yeah. I think you're just reporting. I think people submit their local news that they found very funny this week, and you aggregate it, and it's like this week's local news, and that is the show.
And you'd have clips.
Yeah.
You literally would have clips of like, okay, the cat got stuck and the fire engine went. Like, I love that type of stuff. Local town
the local
shit.
fluff news is the best.
It's the best thing.
And
also,
we even had it here because the Dodgers just won World Series. Congratulations to the Dodgers. And the kid who caught the home run ball in the first game, he had a very cute story that turned into a cute story like news, public interest, which was that he didn't know he was going to the Dodgers game. His parents told him he was going to the dentist.
Oh,
and
wow.
he ended up getting the Grand Slam, the first ever walk-off Grand Slam in a World Series game. And he thought he was going to the dentist.
That
so
must
cool.
be, to catch a home run, must be the greatest feeling in the fucking world.
Then they had that other guy, though. Did you see
Who
this?
tried to steal the foul ball.
Steal the foul ball.
Hilarious.
That was crazy.
So stupid. I love it. I have two game balls that I got, but they were both foul balls.
Yeah.
That were then, and one of them, the coolest.
Zach, you have two foul balls. Ugh. Gross.
Foul. Rotting.
Thank you.
One is a World Series ball.
Really?
But that one has like the pitcher would dig his nails into it to.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's cool.
Why was he digging his nails into it?
It was like his aggression or something.
That's how he's trying to get that sick ass spin. You gotta watch like the pitches in slow motion. The way the ball moves is absurd. I don't even understand.
Do they reuse baseballs?
I think they only get used a few times, like a few pitches, and then they're garbage.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So the cooler one I had, my favorite player at the time, Alfonso Soriano, is up to bat. Derek Jeter, greatest Yankee, arguably of the last several decades, is at bat. Foul ball goes to Jeter. Me and all the kids, we run up. Jeter bends down, slowly gets up, brushes the ball on his pants to dust it off, looks up at all the kids, tosses it, but he fakes it. Every other kid's head turns around except for mine. And then he looks at me and gives the head nod of like, sup, you didn't get fooled. Tosses it right into my mitt.
Wow.
The coolest fucking feeling of my life ever. And like all the dads in the area around me were like, did you see what happened?
That's
that was the
amazing.
great, you're the chosen one. Like all these
Yeah.
Bronx, New York dads were so
That's
excited.
incredible.
Have you guys
Baseball's
gotten-
cool. Baseball's romantic.
Yeah.
For
Especially
one month a year.
the World Series, every single pitch is so thrilling. Like early season baseball, you're going to go to a live game. You're barely going to pay attention. You're like, oh, shoot, the game's over. Okay, well, let's go home.
Let's go home.
But the late season stuff is like,
Intense.
everything is the highest stakes moment.
Right.
The crack of the bat.
The crack of the bat. I love it.
How many weeks from now does this come out, Rainie? Are we
Just
talking?
2, actually.
Okay.
Have you guys ever been on the Jumbotron?
The Kiss Cam?
No, just in
Just any
general.
old.
I
No,
don't think I
ever have.
No,
I've
I've
always
tried
wanted
to
to.
get on it too.
I've
I
always
danced.
wanted
I feel like I've given the energy.
I've given the
deserving of a
energy.
jumbo.
Yeah,
You
once
think you
it makes
deserved
some
it, but you
noise.
Let's be clear. I've brought it.
Yeah.
Big time.
We've got one more Sean Evans update before.
Of course.
Of course. Hell
Yes.
yeah.
We've been
Let's
staying
give-
on track
Give it
pretty
to me.
You can book Sean Evans for just $30,000 for a virtual event, and for a live event, $100,000.
Wait, what is a virtual event?
Like
Sean
He's
a
will
going to come in on a
zoom
Zoom and say
Zoom
happy
in.
birthday.
And by the way, where is this in?
you
is
can
this-
do that for me for the same price.
Yeah, is this
Just so
on his
everyone
we-
knows.
Is this on his
That's
website?
incredible.
In fact, I'll cut you a deal.
yeah.
Is this-
20K digital.
Is this on his website, Rainie?
This is aaespeakers.com.
All right, let's sign
Oh.
up, Keith. I'm
Yeah.
down. I'll
Okay.
I'll
30K?
for half of Sean Evans. You can get both of us.
Yeah, live for a full day,
Whoa.
8 hours.
And we won't
8-hour
leave.
day.
We won't leave.
No matter what you say, we won't leave until
we'll
the time's
kiss your
up. That's our
grandmother.
promise.
And you'll cook lunch.
On the mouth.
On the-
Yeah, I'll kiss a grandma on the mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, if she wants that.
You think Sean's giving out kisses? No
Not
way.
a
Not a
Chance.
chance. You gotta pay quadruple for that.
So now we have to decide, is this movie a guilty pleasure or just plain guilty? No, now we have to do what is Sean Evans
Is Sean
doing?
Evans a guilty pleasure or just being guilty? I do think he's not a guilty pleasure. I think he's just
He's guilty.
a pleasure.
Guilty
Yeah.
of being hot.
I actually think that Sean Evans, I mean, what's my prediction for Sean Evans? I think he'll have do I think he'll have his own talk show? Actually, this was sort of recent internet news. They were trying to figure out, Colin and Samimi, they were talking
Yeah.
about basically if Hot Ones was going to sell. BuzzFeed's trying to sell Hot
Right.
Ones, and if they could.
Oh, wow.
And they were basically like, it's sort of unsellable because Sean Evans is not attached as a host.
Right.
They just hire him as a host. He has
And pay
no
him well
equity in the
enough.
show
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So
He doesn't own the show.
It's First We Feast's show.
Yeah.
Which is owned by BuzzFeed, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about the viability of like no one wants to buy it because Sean Evans could just be like, actually, I'm good and leave because he's not
Whoa.
attached.
I don't
He's
think
not-
that the
That's a
format
surprise.
dies without him, but I don't
No.
think it's the same show.
Yeah, because they
And
have
it would take
they
a
have-
while to build it back up.
They have Truth or Dab, which is just as successful. So the point was kind of like this as IP is interesting and is profitable, but
He doesn't own it, though.
I don't know what's next for Sean. Like he probably likes doing it now. I'm sure they gave him a fuck ton of money to stay on as the host, but what
I
does
don't
he do
think
in
he'd
5
be
years?
a good Jimmy
Talk show.
Fallon.
No, he wouldn't
He
No,
wouldn't
no,
be
no.
good in any other
He'd be a good like sports
podcast.
commentator.
I think he could sell a podcast to Spotify for $2 billion.
Yes, totally.
You know?
He gets it $2 billion. He does have one of the most popular talk shows on the internet.
Those fucking Spotify deals are absurd, and they got to be
They're crazy.
losing money on them
They certainly are.
because there's just no way.
Yeah, I do wonder if I think they're doing way less of them, way
Yeah.
less exclusive deals.
Because they lost money on them.
That's right. And Sirius just bought Call Her Daddy.
And they could have hired
yeah.
Keith and Zach for so much less.
Oh, yeah.
For half a caller daddy, you'll get all four of
You
us.
get all of these daddies.
Oh my God! I mean, they bought Call Her Daddy for like $150 million or something.
I'll
was
do
like
it. I'll do it for a tenth of that.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
You know what?
15 million.
A fifth.
Okay. Yeah, 30 million. There you
You're
go.
negotiating with no one
SiriusXM.
with Sirius XM
Fine.
on
One
the show. They didn't respond.
for a meal stipend.
Don't lower the ticket.
He
They didn't
actually
respond.
raised the price.
He's raised.
He raised
he raised the price.
Zach raised the
You get
price.
you get raised pre-flop.
For-
They didn't fucking show their cards yet.
For a couple free sandwiches a quarter,
Mm-hmm.
you can have it my show exclusive.
Sandwiches that Zach can eat.
Yes.
Can't eat 'em
Gluten-free
all.
dog shit.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Dog shit.
But so you asked what Sean Evans means to me.
The first
John?
one is nothing.
First one is what? What was the question?
No, nothing.
What
He
does
means
Sean-
nothing to me.
It's nothing really.
Yeah, I'm
He's
struggling.
nice, but I don't watch that show that often. And
Yeah.
and I internet guys, a dime a dozen.
Hey. Hey, man,
I'm
glass
one of
house. You got to be careful.
I'm saying I agree, and I don't. There's probably plenty of people who don't give a shit about me, and that's fair.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sean, I think what he represents is an interesting funnel from digital to mainstream, where I think Hot Ones has this Hot Ones has the for whatever reason people don't really consider it an internet talk show, even though it is, and I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
So
they
Sean
did it.
Evans to me, he's my grampy. He's my pappy. And I do like also the idea of gimmick talk shows. There hasn't really been another one that's taken off in the same way that has.
I'd say Last Meals.
Oh, Last Meals
Actually
certainly.
has.
At Last Meals is maybe the one example.
And I think I like that one more.
Oh.
I think Last Meals is a more compelling food offering.
Well, yeah, exactly. I like learning about the types of foods they like, and I also think Josh is a great interviewer. I think Sean Evans is a great interviewer too.
Yes,
but I am more interested in the surprises of Last Meals.
Yes.
Of like what are their favorite foods? Like really, what food is such a intimate thing. It's something we all relate to. Wouldn't it be great to find out you have your favorite cereal is also Jennifer Lawrence's favorite cereal? Wouldn't that be like fun to find out? Like that's the promise that you get from that show, which appeals more to me.
And also I love like you have these great moments of like food memories, which are so intimate.
Yes.
Like Tom Hanks being like, Tom Cruise sends me a coconut cake every year to our offices, and then they remake it, and he's like, it tastes like just like it's incredible to me that the Mythical Kitchen crew makes every single thing as if it was the thing.
Yeah.
I think that we need to press harder to make our version of this that we've wanted to, which is Keith Eats Everything at
Someone's
Blank's house.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
a great idea.
we have Eat the Menu, right? But the idea was we were going to go to Hank Green's house and just eat everything that's at his house.
Yeah.
But
Pickles.
it's such an intimate look into who someone is, like the snacks that you have, which I
The
think
leftovers in your fridge, the freezer things that you buy, even how your pantry is sort of organized.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's almost like an Architectural Digest mini tour of just the food areas
That's
of
a
your
great
house
idea.
with the last meal sort of relatability of what you eat, but seeing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, Last Meals does scratch that itch, I would argue, in a way, right? Because these are my favorite meals. But I'm interested in like, hey, what are just the snacks you have at your house?
Yeah, what's breakfast like?
I even want to see like what's left over in your fridge that you think is just fine.
Yeah, that's it.
Like,
Or like,
oh
what's in the
yeah,
bottom
we
of the
got
freezer?
this Mexican food. It's fine. I just kept it because I could reheat it with an egg for breakfast. But it's not that good.
We've talked about it for a while. I think
it's
next
good,
year is the year that we actually
Yeah, I think I'm surprised you haven't executed yet.
make it happen.
It's hard to do
It's just
everything.
hard.
We
Yeah,
had
you're
it was a big
overwhelmed.
year as it
Oh,
was.
big
Tour,
year, baby.
second try. There's so
Yeah.
much stuff. You can't do it all.
True.
You can't do it all at once.
we
That's
tried to, see if we could do an in-studio celeb show.
Yeah.
YouTube didn't like smoke show. Didn't
Yeah.
work.
Didn't work.
Oh.
Didn't work.
The weed. What about drunk show?
Honestly, I bet you.
We
would do
get the
better.
hottest celebrities fucking shit faced.
I mean, that's sort of what.
blackout.
Doesn't somebody do that day drinking with?
Seth,
with
Seth Meyers.
Does he- it's kind of that
It's kind of
segment.
that too.
We've got to get to the next segment.
Of course.
And
Go ahead.
And we were
No.
remiss with, if not to mention Sean Evans.
So now that we've debriefed Sean Evans, Keith, can you open my computer right there? Hopefully it doesn't have
There's
to
a
make
bomb
you do
in it.
the password. Oh my gosh, I have
Here
to
we
do
go.
the
of course, it needs the password.
By the way, loving that Rainie's, for everyone who doesn't know this, Rainie's profile icon is a fortune cookie.
yeah.
Which is, I think.
I think
true.
that really is
Oh,
apt.
this
I think
is
that's
huge.
true.
Whoa, Keith's big presentation.
Okay, everybody, thanks for coming.
Keith, you've been presented with a big presentation.
Okay, guys, it's time for my big presentation. As you all know, I love so much in this world,
Yeah.
and there's nothing more than I love than this. If fruits and vegetables went to high school, who would be the queen bee?
This
Okay.
is
Let's pause here.
huge.
Yeah, let's actually take a break, actually.
And so I'm wondering if this is Keith is about to answer the question or he's actually doing a pop quiz.
I'm wondering this as well.
Same, I don't know.
He presented it to the group,
Mhm.
so I believe we're supposed to weigh in.
I'm thinking about this. Pineapple obviously has got the fab hair.
Yeah, but pineapple to me is...
Wearing the crown, though, queen bee, and
Yeah.
sort of like a bee, prickly.
It's kind of like a bee. I think to me, pineapple is, and I hate to say this, but is in band.
No, she's
Is
in band.
Pineapple's in band. And that's
Pineapple's
not
in
to
band.
diss, because band kids can be popular too amongst the band kids. But they're not necessarily the queen bee of the high school.
Pineapple's gonna get really buff in college, and then
Yeah.
at the reunion, everyone's gonna be like,
Agreed.
"Damn,
Agreed.
Pineapple looking fine as hell." We used to make fun of his hair, but like,
Agreed.
shit. I think if I had to, I'm almost afraid to go straight to Queen Bee
Yeah.
because my answer's gonna be so right that it's
Agreed.
gonna just crush conversation.
Yeah, I think it'll dominate the conversation.
So let's kind of eliminate some
Let's
low hanging
eliminate some
fruit.
low-hanging- yeah.
It ain't apple.
It ain't
No.
pears.
So here's the thing, because I immediately thought, who's the king of the fruit world? Apple.
Bananas.
Really?
I think that if we're talking popularity contest, it's Apple all day, every day. Not the
Give me
best.
the homecoming king.
It's Apple's homecoming king, but you know what? Loving that. Apple's homecoming king, but he's not the most popular.
Yes. Yeah.
Apple is your white bread.
Yeah.
Maybe the quarterback, but like he's kind of boring.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
sure, you expect him to be that guy. He's gonna peak early.
Yeah.
Car salesman by 30.
Tough.
Shout out
What
to all
about
our car
bananas?
salesmen out there.
Bananas are
I was
good.
thinking about bananas. I think that's
I think
the class
that's
clown.
basic. Yeah.
Bananas are class
They are
clown.
funny.
That's the goof.
What about seaweed?
Is seaweed a fruit?
It's
Or
a
a
vegetable.
vegetable?
Is it a vegetable?
It's a plant.
Yeah.
You're blowing my mind right now.
Seaweed?
Rainie, for us to say
It's
name your
crazy.
favorite vegetable and you say seaweed,
That's cool.
that is
It's
nuts.
insane. It's
I do think that
insane.
seaweed is probably the drug dealer of the school.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nori.
Seaweed's got some nori.
Nori.
I want to make this show so bad about all the fruits at the high school.
Yeah, I'm in. Can
The
we cut?
vegetables?
We have to cut a lot in this episode because we're
Yeah.
going forward with this. Okay, I'm gonna say
VeggieTales
it.
been a dark, edgy teen comedy.
I'm gonna say it. I think that the queen is short and cute and plucky, loved by all, with those nice little perky
Uh-oh.
cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's strawberry.
Keith, go to the next slide.
Well, Zach, I'm sorry to let you know. It's
Keith did not say
Okay, this is
strawberries.
interesting. So the slide says Keith did not say in a picture of strawberries.
and Zach, you're right. I didn't say it. You did.
And so Rainie has predicted that Keith didn't
But
say
let
it.
me just go ahead further and show you this.
Okay.
Oops.
Instead,
He chose such a dweeb fruit. Well, I chose banana.
Which is very similar to avocado.
they both have good
They
fats.
are fat. They're good fat.
So none of you
not
guys remember that like 6 weeks ago I texted you a list of questions.
What?
Keith is the only one who responded.
What are you talking about?
Got it. So
So I was the only
Yeah.
person who did your homework, and you chose that as an opportunity to embarrass me.
to embarrass, humiliate Keith in front of the crowd.
You
The
sent
only-
us questions?
The only
Yes, you
person
did.
who did the assignment,
Yep.
as you said weeks ago, which if we want to say weeks ago, I was very busy with a tour, and
That's
I still
true.
managed to find time.
That's right.
And that my prize is to be insulted in my own
Instead, he showed
presentation.
such a dweeb fruit and a picture of avocados. Really a roast of Keith.
Well,
Unbelievable roast of
let-
Keith. Because I actually think that avocados kind of do have it all.
And let's be clear though, Keith. Rainie didn't roast you. You roasted yourself with
I
the
guess.
dweeb choice.
I like avocados.
I think I eat so many avocados with Julian. We're just shoving them in
And
our
also,
hands.
I think I said pears suck, but pears do have a sexy shape, and avocados have the same shape, but they're more delicious.
Guys. The debate here is not if avocados are great. They're obviously great, but avocados are the smart kid of the class. They're the bookworm.
Right, that's what I
That
think.
is, avocado is not the
They're
fucking
tryhards.
queen bee.
Excuse me?
Avocado-
Okay, fucking, you know who's the nerd? Literally kale. Literally romaine. We're not
Yes.
talking, avocados
Yes.
are way cooler than that. They have an hourglass figure.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And they also are fun and cool. The nerds, you're talking about nerds and dweebs here, fennel.
And actually, I'll agree, not a dweeb. I'd say a nerd fruit.
Yes. Nerd.
I disagree.
Dweeb, I'm down with fennel. But I just think avocado is too... Avocado cares too much about what college they're getting into to be
That's
at all
fair.
the parties.
That's fair.
That's possible.
Okay.
Can't be the most popular kid and have a perfect SAT
Life
score.
is the pits. But let me show you this.
Okay.
Who would you elect president of the internet?
Philip DeFranco.
That's what I said.
I don't like that choice.
Why not?
You don't have my vote.
Why not?
Hank Green.
Oh.
I think Phil DeFranco is more in charge of, like, he posts every single day.
He does post a lot.
Current events of the internet and the world. But the
Yeah.
internet always takes up probably a third of the entire show.
Yeah, who would you elect president of the internet? Honestly, I gotta go out on a limb here. Ryan from Ryan's Surprise Toys. What is it?
Ryan's Toy Review.
Ryan's Toy Review.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Ryan's Toy Review, Prince of the Internet. Hallowed be thy name.
Okay, I got a confession to you guys. And I was like, I'm gonna do this because Rainie made this cute presentation for me. And I was like, oh, I'm so excited. But right before you handed that, I was gonna say, like, I really could go to the bathroom right now. But I'm
You're
gonna
about
stay.
to pee.
Yeah, I gotta go so hard.
You're
have
gonna
to
pee on camera.
Go pee and I'll pick it
What
up.
I was thinking is, this is just making fun of me. I don't need to be here for that. I just gotta go to the bathroom.
Who would you elect
You
president
go
of the
piss.
internet?
We're gonna look at your answers and we'll come up with some questions when you get back.
He's got to piss. What historical time period do you think about the most?
What do you think his answer is gonna be?
Oh,
I think that Keith's...
wait. I think the next slide is what do you think Keith's answer is going to be? So me and Zach. Oh, no, it's
Nope.
not. Go back.
Damn it.
What historical time period do you think about the most?
Well, I'm gonna guess the 90s because I saw the next slide.
I'm going to guess the fall of the Roman Empire.
Uh,
And you know it's got to be the 90s.
he said probably just the 90s because it was childhood.
I don't think about traditional history much.
And a really nice picture of young Leo.
And and he's probably the age of the women he dates now. What will be nostalgic in 10 years? And he said non-digital functions like knobs, buttons, and switches. I agree with that. I think that a lot of shit's going to be digital. It's going to be freaking fingerprint scanner.
Yeah.
It's going to be putting your face into a scanner to make sure that you get into your Airbnb.
Rainie, I'd like to go a little meta here for a moment.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I want to know, when you came up with this question, where were you mentally?
I agree.
Where was I
Was
mentally?
Rainie in a low spot when she, when she said, what will we be nostalgic for in 10 years? Because Rainie's trying to find joy in her everyday life.
I am trying to find joy in my everyday life, and I've actually been doing kind of a fire job of it, to be honest. So, but I don't remember. This was 6 weeks ago.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
On the bottom of your MacBook Pro, it's engraved to say MacBook Pro. Feels totally unnecessary.
Did that come standard, or did they give you an option to engrave and you accidentally thought that you were typing in what you were buying and had them engrave?
I don't think this comes standard.
Is that standard?
Really?
I've never seen that
I've
before.
never seen this ever, and so it makes me think that Rainie wrote,
Please wait.
please buy me a MacBook Pro.
Well, this was my work computer, so you guys bought it for me.
But that's interesting.
I have something I'm nostalgic for, but I don't know if it's okay if I derail this presentation or not.
I want to derail. I also want to know what historical period you guys think about the most.
Oh, I often actually think about like pre-electricity times.
Oh.
I don't know what historical period that would even be. 'Cause I don't remember when electricity was invented, but I sometimes think about like how technology changed everything and how they had technology before electricity, but like I think that period of time is really interesting to me. And that you just had fucking books. That was it. I just think about that all the time. How you just had books at one point.
And you don't even you don't have light. So it's like whenever the sun goes down, that's kind of it.
It's like, okay, let's go to sleep.
Yeah.
When the sun goes down, we're talking about what we're nostalgic about. I do think this is correct.
Yeah.
Because it'll be all fingerprint scanners and freaking butt thermometers.
By the way, without you here, way less fun. We needed someone to interrogate.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We need a kid's big interrogation.
I
Is
Yeah,
this the end
what
of the
was your-
presentation?
I think, that was
might
be.
good. Good work, though.
So finally, what will be nostalgic? And that's
The
it.
real prompt for this answer from me is that we have a new washer dryer, and it's great, except that it's all digital buttons, and also some of the functions of the dryer can only be sent to the machine through an app, and that's
What?
so annoying
Yeah,
and
that sucks.
stupid.
Oh, that's
if I need to do
awful.
a specific load of something that's like I don't know, a delicate white setting or
Yeah.
something, that's not a button. I must go into my phone and send it to the dryer. And somehow it's like, I can only have 8 of the 30 functions pre-stored in the machine. So to send one of those other 30 functions, I have to delete one of the 8 functions. Like, that's ridiculous. They should be able to eat up all 30 functions, or else what's the point of having a remote function system, which is my
that's
phone?
So
Insane.
dumb.
It's so stupid. I'm gonna figure out the brand of it next time and rail them to hell.
Rail them down.
Because if I had
I agree
known
with
it was
this.
going to be like that, I would not have bought this machine. I was like, oh, that's cute. I thought not only could I send it on the thing, I could send it on my phone. I thought, I could do it on the machine or my phone. Well, that's nice because if I'm on the couch, maybe it says like it's done. I'm like, I know this always takes 2 loads. It went in there super wet. I'll just hit the dryer and not get up. That's not what this was.
I love a physical interface. Digital interfaces to me are becoming passe at this point.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, true for everything. Like having to control something in my house with an app Dislike. I want a button.
It's actually not that hard to turn the light on.
Yeah. We can just press the switch.
Okay, we're talking about progress that isn't progress. This is the hottest take that I have right now that I believe with all my heart. I'm over phones. I don't want a smartphone. I do want a portable internet machine. Listen to this.
No, he just doesn't want the phone function on.
I don't like to call on the phone.
No.
Call me on
Miles, I'm going to need you to sit down and listen.
Interesting.
Because I haven't finished my argument
Talk
yet.
to me.
I have no need for calls on the go. I think it has become a nuisance more than anything.
What?
My phone rings with spam calls 4 to 5 times a day, which means I now don't answer my phone. And no list that I put myself in, nothing happens.
Yep.
I personally actually resent the fact that I am expected to be someone that can be gotten a hold of at any time 24/7.
Bill Murray over
and so
here.
I get a text from my friends, and if I don't respond within 10 minutes, it's like, why are you not available? I think that we should bring back phone at my house, phone at my office. And if you want to get a hold of me, hey, I'm actually in a meeting right now. I'll call you back. Or I'm not home right now. Leave a message. I'll get to you when I can. I miss this. I miss having the ability to be by myself and not be having to respond to people all the time.
People love you, Zach. And they want to get in touch with you. The world is reaching out. They're saying, Zach, I have a coupon for you.
Well, and what I think it's led to, so, okay, it's the one is that you have to be available at all times, right? Which actually means that I'm available less because I'm getting like these messages that I'm half engaging with and whatever, but it's this expectation that no matter what I'm doing, we should be in a conversation right now and I should respond to you right now. But what it also has done is reduced conversation via proxy. We're just sending like a link and we're not actually talking. I would rather get home, check my voicemail, be like, oh, Miles called. I'm going to call him back. And now we're going to talk.
Well, hang on. I'm not available when you call me back. And I don't, you know what? I actually resent the fact that when you call me, I need to be available at Zach's beck and call.
I'm going to
Zach calling?
No, I'll
Excuse me,
leave a voicemail. I'm going to leave a voicemail.
And all of a sudden, Zach's, my phone's ringing. I'm looking at Zach calling. I'm going, this fucking asshole. Call my phone. Because you know what I'll say? I love a phone call. And I wish I could eliminate the text messages from my phone. I have the opposite take. I would rather someone call me at any time of day and I go, hey, what's up? We can get the work done in about 15 seconds. That would take text back, forth.
Yeah.
We're dealing with the things. Because I was just on tour, so it was like we're calling a lot of venues. And all the time I was like, I wish we could do a phone call. Because then also people can be like, oh man, like we're having charm pass
So
back
let's
and
get
forth.
2 devices. I want a portable call machine and I want a portable
A fax
beeper.
machine.
Ooh, I like that.
And
Portable
I want
fax.
a beeper that says, sup, call me.
This is interesting because, to me,
Sort of, yeah.
email is the same way. Email is mostly spam for me at this point.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There's a lot of spam.
A lot.
But I love a phone. And when I get a phone call in the middle of the day from a friend, I'm overjoyed.
I've
And I'm
never
like,
once gotten a phone call in the middle of the day from a friend.
Is that true?
The only phone
It's a butt
calls that I
dial
get.
if it is.
I never. What are you talking? Like I'm at work. I don't get phone calls in
Wait,
the middle of
really?
the day.
Yeah, not from friends. In the middle of the fucking day? Who's going to call me?
You don't? Wait, really?
The
Look
last-
at look at all of this red.
Look at
These
all-
are
yeah,
all
same.
spam.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely am getting calls from friends. Mine is like all black.
Hey, Zach.
Hello,
Hey, Zach. I'm just giving you a call just to let you know I'm thinking about you.
dude. I would be thrilled to get this call,
That's awesome.
but I'd prefer if you left a message at my house machine and I could call you back when the day's over.
Hung up on. Say that again. Sorry, Rainie.
Oh no, nothing. I was just saying mine none of mine are red. Like they're all
Wow, that's
You don't
crazy.
get any phone calls?
Oh,
You
they're all
you don't miss any calls.
yeah.
Because I don't know.
Kelsey
there's some-
Dara 5 calls.
5 calls and they're all missed. I also like I typically will do this too, is I call someone, they don't answer. I call them like 3 more times. Because I think I don't know. I don't want to send a text and then I have to wait around for the text response and then I have to text them again.
I think we just have to eliminate one of the options, and I'm fully on board.
Interesting.
You know what I like to do?
It's like you-
I like to text lots of little texts. I
Ooh,
know lots
like a
of people
little
hate
emoji?
that.
What's your
no,
favorite?
no, I like to be like
Like a
hey,
line at a time.
Wanted to
Yeah.
ask you a question.
Mm.
Here's the question. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
But I know that some people like it to be, hey, I wanted to ask you a question. Here's the question. What do you think about that? Is one big block. And I'm like, well, that's no fun.
Yeah.
You like to send repeated rapid fire, sort of rabbit poop style.
I want it to feel like the conversation.
I think that works if you're currently texting back, forth.
I agree.
I like that more.
Yeah.
It's nice. It is like we're talking. Oh, you know what it's like? Instant messaging. Back when you were in 7th grade and you were actually chatting with your friends back and forth, and you actually sort of set up a time like, hey, it's 7 p.m.
Oh,
you
that's
want to
fun.
be online together?
I just
We'll chat.
I found the solve I was looking for because with AIM, you used to be online or you would have your away message.
You're right. There was you can leave someone on away. You could be like,
that's nice.
You can put a cool sad song lyric up.
I need fucking Linkin Park lyrics in my text message so that when you text me and I'm on a podcast.
Cutting my life into pieces. It's my last resort.
Yeah. Ooh, really? And then I'm like, oh my God, is Keith okay? And then I send you a message and I'm like, oh, what's up?
I just had to go get Pizza Hut.
Is that okay? Is everything okay?
Yeah,
No, cut my life into
fine.
pieces. Cut my pizza into pieces.
Yeah.
Cut my life into pizzas.
No one out pizzas, the Hut, the this.
Really good. I mean, I like that. That's why I liked Slack when I worked here, because it was like a
You
whole bunch of
started
people.
Slack, right? You started Slack at the company, and
That's
now
a
you
good
use
point.
it every
Owns a good chunk of
day.
Slack.
I own a
Right.
good chunk of Slack. I believe I was the admin on Slack for a while, so I read every single person's messages privately. Back and forth. I'm just kidding. I don't think you can do that.
No.
If you could, I couldn't. I didn't do it.
Okay, before we get to the final, actually the penultimate segment.
Okay.
We've got 2 more segments.
I really thought I thought that you guys were all going to cheer for me when I said the phone thing. I've been sitting on that for a while. Go on,
I
Rainie.
think
Well,
it
you've told
comes out of-
it to me.
To me, Zach, some people probably, and I want to say, it's actually something I've been doing recently. When something hard happens that's bad, you say, it's a privilege too. So for you,
I saw that TikTok. My mom sent it to me and said,
Yes.
okay,
It's-
period, or question mark. And I don't know. Is it a privilege?
Wait, I don't know. You're saying it's
and what are you-
privilege to not want
It's like
it's a privilege that
to
people are
work.
calling
It's
you.
a privilege. I think that's true.
It's a privilege that people are calling you trying to reach
it's
out.
all spam.
It's a
all
privilege that
spam.
people
calls me.
They're trying to give you coupons.
No
Zach.
one
They
calls
trying to,
me.
It's coupons and it's election stuff
Yeah.
because for us, the election hasn't happened yet. For you listeners, you know how it went, and
Holy shit.
let us know in the comments.
But to me, it is a privilege. No, and by the way, I actually do firmly stand behind that. I think that it all kind of is a privilege. It could be so much worse, especially when that stuff happens. It's like, it is a privilege to be able to like have to work hard. It's a privilege to be able to like have a lifestyle where you get to go to a little coffee shop and have a croissant.
yeah.
What a privilege.
Maybe your advice today is just appreciate the stress.
Honestly, that is something I try to get it down with. Or it's like, yeah, when I get stressed out, I'm like, this is the stressful castle that I have built for myself.
Yeah.
Is kind of the thing. But you don't feel it's a privilege.
Well, the TikTok that I saw, I'm trying to remember. It's like maybe I do agree if I really think about it. But it was like it's a privilege to like be sad sometimes, and I was like, yeah, but could it also just be sad? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes.
sometimes it is just sad.
You can be, yes, that's correct. But I think that the idea maybe is that it's a privilege to have had the joys. So you're having, like, you have to have balance. Like,
That
in order
sounds
to
like-
have extreme joy, you have to have sad sometimes. You have to, the umbrella.
The umbrella.
The umbrella swings back and forth. What is the word
umbrella.
I'm looking for? The pendulum.
The pendulum.
Why did I say umbrella?
The pit and the umbrella is that famous Poe story where the umbrella keeps getting closer to the man's throat.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
Poe.
Oh.
Loving Poe.
I will say so this weekend my grandpa he was a teacher his whole life. He was a math teacher. And for a class's 50th year like reunion, they asked for him to come. And like so he's like 86. So he did it over Zoom. And so I was like just happened to be visiting. So I like sat behind him while he did it. And it was so sweet. Like there's these like 70-year-old people, because it was 50 years ago.
Wow.
Like just like talking about how meaningful he was. And afterwards I was exhausted in the way that like I am when I'm really sad. And I was like, that's interesting. I think that sad and happy are like more closely related. So
Truly, yeah.
Is that also aging? Is that something that scares you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
to me,
true.
I see old. Sometimes I will think about being very old, and
Yeah.
it fills me with anxiety because I'm sort
Yeah.
of just like, oh man, like age
Yeah.
reminds you of the passage of time, which can be very scary.
You know, I had a thing the other day. I was like, I guess, when I'm sure you've done this too because you have a kid. He's like, okay, when he is this age, I'll be this age. That's kind of why when like he's my age, I will be so much older than now.
Oh,
What
yeah.
would that be like? But I realized that, like, well, I've lived so much life to be this old.
Yes.
Which means I get to have that much more life to live before I have to worry about that moment. And I was even thinking, like, I think we look at aging as like, oh, when you're 40 or when you're 50 or when you're 60, things are going to be like not as good. But then I'm like, I don't know. I know a lot of people who are 50 and 60, or I see a lot of people who are in those ages, and they're doing great. They're still making things. They're still learning. They're still discovering.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So but it was just, I think it was because Kamala turned 60.
Yeah.
And I was like, she really doesn't feel 60 to me.
I think it's going to be better.
Maybe my perception of 60 is wrong.
Well,
I think is what I've come to.
Yeah.
I just saw, so Tom Hanks has this movie that all takes place in one room, like over years and years. It looks insane. But they on the red carpet, they asked him, what was the worst year? Any guesses?
Oh, the worst year of his life?
Like what was the worst, sorry, it was, what's the worst age?
Oh, 23, right?
23?
That's the song, right? No one likes you when you're 23.
Oh, yeah.
23.
Probably
I want to say actually being
12.
12.
Oh.
His answer, which I think is unique to him, but pertinent to this conversation, is he said 35, which shocked me. But if I'm reading correctly, his reasoning is that when he was 35, he was starting a family and he was giving so much of himself to others, to work, to raising kids, to everything. And it was like the burden was intense. And he's like, now he's like, I got all this time. I get to work out, eat well, go see my kid. Like life is good.
It's the busiest time I've ever,
for those younger, by the way,
long.
I love my 30s. The 30s have been my favorite age group so far. But certainly I'm working harder than I assume I ever will be in my life. And for you guys, that work gets accelerated then, or magnitudes more with having a kid into that fold.
Oh, yeah.
So as far as
and trying to do what we do as entertainers, which requires just a lot of
So as far as like being old,
Yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited to be old. I actually remember all the time when we shot the old age series, I guess it was, and we talked to that guy.
Yeah.
I think about that interview all the time because one of the things he said was he was like, there's 3 age groups basically, like assuming some people live beyond this, but he was like 1 to 25, 25 to 50, and then 50 to 75. They're all the same amount of time, but there are way less like programs and things for people who are 50 to 75. We talked about accessibility in that episode and whatever. But I was like, 50 to 75 is the same amount of time as 25 to 50.
Yeah.
But yet it feels like, it's 50 to 75 is nothing. But I'm like, holy shit, so much time. Like,
so much time.
You can unlock a new hobby, start a new passion,
You
start
start
a
over.
career.
Like, everything about yourself.
I'm doing things I do now that I didn't do 4 years ago.
Look at Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
And
Martin Short.
Martin Short.
And Martin Short.
You could find your Meryl Streep.
Wait, why do you say 12?
I think you don't have very much autonomy when you're 12.
Yeah.
And you're still struggling so hard to figure out who you are.
It's the beginning of puberty too.
It's the beginning of puberty.
You start
It's-
having emotions you never had. You're trying to deal with where do I fit in? And like I'm about to be a high schooler. Where am I going to fit in? It's very stressful.
You have
and
to
this is the first time I think you're experiencing stress.
Yeah.
You have to
start to-
remember where Tom Hanks was when he was 12. He wished on a Zoltar machine.
That's a
It
good
became
point.
big.
Yeah, that did-
became big.
that was
It
a
That was,
stressful
a,
for him.
that was a good
big.
year for him.
Yeah.
But I think it's like you're 12. You sort of are not an adult yet. You're not even really a young adult yet. You're just. And when I was 12, I like read manga under the stairs. It was the best. But like I think the older I get, the more I enjoy it. Ultimately,
I wish when I was 17 I knew I was a kid because I thought I
Yeah.
was an adult and I just
I did
wasn't.
too.
Actually.
Yeah.
being
It's
17.
I was talking to someone about like going to college and that like first day of college, you're like, yeah, I'm an adult. I was like, I don't. You're literally a month off of not being a college student and you're very young.
And even after
But
college.
I felt so not young, but you're really quite young at that age.
yeah.
And it doesn't mean you're not an adult and not able to make very incredible decisions and run your own life and stuff, but you're just really young. Like you've only experienced, really 15 or 16 years of conscious life, like where you're able to remember things
Completely.
and even that stuff at 18, even your memories from 4 years old, they're probably have one.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Like, so those years don't matter. You don't remember them.
Do you guys think that there's like you've lived lives before?
You're talking about reincarnation?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
And
Do we have time for this?
We'll make time. I don't know, but I think that there's something I tell myself often is that there's a line in between religion and physics and like spirituality that probably all boils down to the same idea, which is that like matter can neither be created nor destroyed. The cells and things that were on the earth when the dinosaurs existed are the same cells and things that were on the earth
We're
now.
all stars, baby.
We're all just stardust, baby. It all is made up of the same things. And, cells have different genetic code. Things are kind of mixing and decomposing and reforming. And water that's in your body is the same water that Abraham Lincoln was sneezing. And I think that there's something interesting about that.
And in like our DNA of who we are, I'm my dad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Henry's me.
Yes, absolutely.
Interesting.
Like
Quite literally.
we are
Whoa.
built of the same
Mm-hmm.
scaffolding.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I have lived for a long time because I am part of someone else.
Yeah.
And multiple people in the family tree, like as I literally see Henry do things that he is learning from me, but also like his interests that are similar to mine. I'm more and more seeing like, oh wait, he's me. And that makes me like, and then I'm thinking about what I do that my parents are like, well, I'm them. And it has made me really think about like that idea of family lineage. I've always thought of it as like a weird sort of like, oh, I want, I don't know what I've thought of it as, like a idea that like my name lives on, but I really actually think it's me.
Yeah.
It's my DNA. It's my existence actually exists through this next person, which is kind of wild.
Yeah, that is interesting. And I totally agree though. I think they're seeing my son and thinking about time and the passage of time and being like, this is, or also I think it's a good like, oh, I'm here to do this. Like it's a good reason. It's good to have a capital R reason sometimes. But what a privilege it is.
What a privilege.
I think also I'm thinking about the privilege thing. Life is so difficult to me when things are only a little bit difficult. It is such a privilege. But when they're very difficult, it's okay for it not to be.
Yeah.
But like I
see what you're saying.
I trip and I skin my leg because I was on a jog and I was feeling the brisk morning air. What a privilege it is.
Yeah.
Something really horrible happens, not so much. But I think it's important to recontextualize the things that are a little bit bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that we need to keep breaking down the TikTok, but yeah, I fear that the TikTok can verge into toxic positivity,
which I've certainly been accused of.
I guess my version of it, I think about, my body and my chronic pain, where if I have pain, that is not a privilege. But if I am able to do something like go on a hike or even pull off something limited, I have gratitude, and that is a privilege to do even what you can despite the bad things.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, the next segment was going to be, since we're done with Halloween and into Thanksgiving, it was going to be great gratitude, but I think we did it.
We just
we
gratituded.
Baby. Be
We
grateful for the
gratituded.
things that you cannot change. What's the quote? There are things you cannot change except
Change
the things
what you can, and adapt to what you can. Something like that.
Were you about to do the Alcoholics Anonymous thing? God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, wisdom to
I think I actually was.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, man, you got to be fucking grateful for all of it, baby.
And let's go ahead, while we're talking about gratitude, we're grateful for you, the audience, for your understanding in the fact that we just got through October without a single spooky or kooky. And you know what? That is not us at our best.
No.
And the fact that you're still here
It's
is that's a privilege.
what we have done is wrong.
Luckily,
It's
luckily, we do have another spooky holiday coming up. Christmas.
Thanksgiving. Oh,
Christmas is spooky.
Christmas can be a little
Christmas
spooky. A
Carol.
spooky man
Spooky.
breaks into your house.
I think we might have to dust it off for a Christmas edition of Spooky or Kooky. Book it. Write it in. You heard it here first.
Print.
Goose
Cut to
Boyfriend will be here. The
Oh.
Spooky will be here. The Kooky will be here.
as well.
That'd be huge.
Shit. Stay tuned.
Well, it's time for some advice.
It's advice that'll go for miles. Tune it to your radio station. It's advice that'll go for miles. Everyone get ready, Miles Nation. Miles Nation, go. It's advice that'll go for miles. Advice that'll go for miles.
Yeah. You that you gotta have it. What the fuck is up, Miles Nation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Do you ever want to see your coffee? Do you ever want?
Is this okay? Go ahead. Is this translucent mug? The good news is I'm a fan of her person. The bad news is I've heard you do this recently.
Are we just getting your fucking
We're just getting your sloppy
leftovers? Are we
seconds.
Never
fucking
happened
get
before. This
your
has never
sloppy
happened before.
seconds on this show?
Never happened before.
Well, this is supposed to be a premier listening experience
Rainie,
for.
can I be honest? My advice was going to be something, but I realized I cold opened an episode of Perfect Person with it, so I thought I can't do that. Translucent mug, I thought I can't have done that before.
Sorry, are you giving advice on another show?
No, hang on. Wait a minute. I have to think of something totally fresh. Everybody, shut up. Hang on.
Are you ready?
Almost. Shh.
Okay.
Chili lime seasoning.
There we go.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been eating my favorite little wing from a local shop that I'm not going to say because I don't want you guys to eat all the wings. But I have found a comp at Trader Joe's, which apparently, by the way, fuck Trader Joe's. They're a union-busting fucking fat cat.
Oh,
and we
shit.
thought that they weren't.
What?
And I gotta say, I was
They
a
feel like
ride or
the
die
most
Trader-
union-y
They do.
fucking store in the
I know,
world.
that's the fucking problem. I was talking about Trader Joe's recently. Someone was like, I think they like are totally union-busting and bad. So Joe can suck my dick, but while he's doing it, you guys should buy his chili lime seasoning.
That's all the time we got. We can't go into depths on that. We do have to hear us next time, or perhaps on Miles's podcast when he probably goes into it further.
No,
And then gives us some sloppy
I
seconds.
wouldn't dare.
Keith, hit us with the official Tripod theme song. Well, it was a nice day. We had a cowboy. Miles was here and he brought us his leftover joy. Is the tripod.
I got a text message an
just
hour
got one,
ago that said, "Hey, do you have an idea of what I can bring to this?" Never mind, thought of it myself. And it's like, come on, I'm too available.
People love you, Zach.
All right. Have a good ass week.
All right.